There's a peculiar kind of joy in watching a master at play, and when the master in question is Wes Anderson, joy becomes curiosity, curiosity becomes obsession, and obsession becomes a cinematic ritual. With the Phoenician scheme, Anderson doesn't just return to form, he pirouettes through genre and tone with the grace of a clockmaker spinning tails instead of gears. This time, the mechanism he's building ticks to the rhythm of espionage, absurdity, and familial confrontation. And oh, does it tick exquisitely! Picture this, a European magnate Zajakorta whose legacy is stitched into the seams of industries best left in the shadowy corners of global affairs. Armaments, aviation. A man who has crashed 6 planes and walked away from each one with a new scar and a fresher grudge. One can't help but imagine the burnished silhouette of Benicio del Toro drawing deeply from a cigarette while staring into the distance, calculating the chaos he's about to cause or escape. But this isn't just the story of capital and conflict. No. Enter Sister Liesel, Korda's estranged daughter, robed not in designer silks, but in the austere simplicity of a nun's habit. Played by the luminous Mia Threepleton, Liesel is the kind of character Anderson conjures from the fog of poetic irony, both devout and determined, spiritual yet strategic. The nun as heiress, the daughter as last chance, the future forged not in steel but in silent prayers and pointed glances. Their reunion isn't tender, it's tactical. Liesel isn't returning for fatherly affection, but because she's been handed the reins to an empire surrounded by wolves. They have names, tycoons, terrorists, assassins, and though their titles change, their appetite remains constant. Power. And it's within this elegant web that Anderson spins his latest fable, not with the broad strokes of realism, but with his signature symmetrical whimsy, turning every confrontation into a dance, every danger into a metaphor. The ensemble is, in a word, divine. Michael Cera appears not as the bumbling sidekick we've come to expect, but as Bjorn Lund, the tutor with eyes too wise for his years and secrets folded beneath his collar. Scarlett Johansson, sharp as ever, transforms into Cousin Hilda, whose diplomacy is measured in deadly whispers and knowing winks. Then there's Tom Hanks, yes, the ever-dependable everyman casting off comfort to become Leland, a character drenched in ambiguity, half mentor, half minute. Bryan Cranston, Riz Ahmed, Benedict Cumberbatch. This isn't just a cast, it's a tapestry of talent, each thread distinct and yet interwoven with care. Anderson doesn't merely hire actors, he orchestrates them, like instruments in a chamber ensemble where no note rings hollow, and through their performances the film breathes with a peculiar vitality, the kind you only find in stories that believe in their own absurdity enough to make you feel something true. What truly elevates the Phoenician scheme beyond its plot is its mood, this aura of chic paranoia wrapped in velvet satire. It's a film where the lighting is as sharp as the dialogue, where the costumes speak louder than some characters ever will. Anderson, once again partnering with Roman Coppola, delves not just into aesthetics, but into the anatomy of control. Who has it, who loses it, and who pretends to. There's an almost theatrical energy behind the camera this time, thanks to Bruno Del Bonel's cinematography. It's as if each frame were a stage in miniature, a diorama of madness and meaning, perfectly lit and impossibly precise. Alexandre Desplat, ever the maestro, scores this political waltz with flourishes that shimmer between menace and melancholy. The film clocks in at just over an hour and a half, but time in Anderson's world doesn't tick, it spirals, loops, repeats itself until reality blurs with dream. One must also admire the context. Shot at Studio Babelsberg in Germany, the project grounds itself in a kind of Euro-noir sensibility, the kind that fuses Cold War aesthetics with contemporary satire. And Anderson isn't just revisiting themes here, he's refining them. Legacy, inheritance, the quiet terror of trusting someone else with your life's work. With the Phoenician scheme, he's asking whether family is a refuge or a reckoning. And if there's a whisper of gossip behind the curtain, it's the emergence of Mia Threepleton as the breakout star. Yes, she's the daughter of Kate Winslet, but in this film, she stands entirely on her own. There's something magnetic about her stillness, a kind of storm just behind the eyes. Anderson seems to understand this instinctively, giving her space to be both silent and seismic. It's a performance that suggests she's not here to borrow her mother's crown, she's forging her own diadem of subtle power. Of course, it wouldn't be a Green Growl moment if I didn't pause here and ask you, dear listener, what do you make of this peculiar concoction of espionage and emotion? Is Anderson maturing into a new phase, or has he simply refined his recipe to near perfection? Let's chat about that. Comment below, share your wildest theories, or tell me if you think Cousin Hilda is really the one pulling the strings. I want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this dive into the splendid chaos of the Phoenician scheme, do the decent thing, like, subscribe, and ring that bell of destiny, or whatever shape destiny takes in this eccentric little corner of cinema. More details, as always, await you in the description, where secrets are whispered not by spies, but by hyperlinks. And if you're still hungry for answers, you know where to find me, down in the comments.